Hey there, and welcome back to Think Better in 10 Minutes.
Great to be here.
This is where we take about 10 minutes to really focus on ideas that can help you make better choices.
Yeah.
In business and life, wherever it counts.
Yeah, just sharpen that thinking, give you a bit of an edge.
Exactly. And today, we're diving deep into something crucial for success. Building a high-performance mindset, especially in business.
We're drawing heavily from Ahmad Salarizada's book, Market Champions, the high-performance mindset for business.
Right. You might have seen that image we shared, the cityscape, Empire State Building right there. It really sets the scene, doesn't it? Ambition, competition.
It really does. Captures that feeling of striving in these, pretty tough markets the book talks about.
So our mission for this deep dive, let's pull out the really practical, actionable stuff from the book. Things you can use to think better about your own path, professionally and personally.
Let's do it.
Okay, so the book kicks off by painting a picture of today's business world. And honestly, it feels pretty spot on. It's like this relentless marathon.
Oh, absolutely. Constant change, right? Tech shifts, economic ups and downs, global players, everywhere you look. It doesn't really let up.
And here's the interesting thing it points out.
Yeah.
We all have access to more tools, more information than ever before.
Yeah, you'd think that would level the playing field.
But it doesn't, does it?
Yeah.
Performance varies wildly. Some people, some companies, they just soar. Others,
Yeah.
well, they struggle.
So what's the secret sauce? What makes the difference?
Well, the book argues pretty strongly that the key factor is mindset.
Ah, okay. So not just what you know or what tools you have.
Nope, it's about how you think, how you see your abilities, how you face challenges, how you bounce back from failures, and how you spot opportunities.
It's like that marathon analogy you mentioned. Everyone's running the same race, same course.
Exactly. But it's the mental game, isn't it? The focus, the grit, the ability to push through when it gets tough. That often decides who finishes strong.
That makes a lot of sense. So connecting that to you, the listener, it really asks you to think about what's truly powering your performance. Why do some thrive?
And to help us understand this better, the book introduces this framework from a sports coach, Bill Beswick. 3 levels of play.
Okay, interesting. Applied to business.
Yeah. Level 1, he calls it just showing up.
Showing up, sounds like.
Pretty much what it sounds like. Doing the bare minimum, no real initiative, waiting for instructions. You know the type.
We've all seen it. In business, that means maybe employees just there for the paycheck.
Exactly. Or companies that just don't innovate, offer kind of mediocre service. They're just there.
And the result is usually stagnation.
Stagnation and being really, really vulnerable when things change.
Right, because they haven't built any resilience, any real foundation. They're fragile.
Totally. Okay, then there's level 2, training to compete.
All right, stepping it up a bit.
Yeah, more effort here. People are trying to get ahead, aiming to be good.
So in business terms, maybe improving products, putting some money into marketing.
Yep, employees looking for that promotion.
Yeah,
It's progress, for sure.
yeah.
It often keeps you stuck in that average or maybe slightly above average zone. You're competing, but you're still vulnerable.
Right.
True market leadership, probably still out of reach.
Yeah. That's where a lot of companies probably sit, right? Working hard, trying to keep up.
Keeping pace.
Yeah, keeping pace, maybe making small improvements, but not really breaking away from the pack. They haven't got that unique edge or that deep culture of excellence.
Precisely. Which brings us to level 3, training to dominate.
Okay, dominate. That sounds intense.
It's the market champion level. The focus isn't just winning, it's being the best, setting the standards, actually welcoming challenges.
Wow, so a real passion for just excellence.
Absolutely. Think of people like Musk or Bezos, that kind of relentless drive. In companies, it's about building that innovation culture, empowering people to think like owners.
And that's what leads to sustainable growth, real market leadership.
That's the idea.
You know, it's interesting. Dominate doesn't necessarily mean being ruthless. It sounds more like an internal commitment to being the absolute best you can be.
That's a great way to put it. Constant learning, innovation, really understanding the game.
So the big question for you listening is, where do you honestly see yourself or your team? Level 1, 2, or 3?
Yeah, that's something to really sit with. Okay, so moving on, the book dives into these golden questions. The first one is, what do you really want? It calls this your roadmap.
A roadmap makes sense. You need to know where you're going.
Right. Otherwise, your efforts are just scattered all over the place, no direction.
But, figuring out what you really want, that can be harder than it sounds.
The book points that out too. Why is it so hard? Well, Maybe fear of failure. Maybe you don't really know yourself that well yet.
Or external pressures, everyone telling you what you should want.
Exactly. Or just being swamped by the day-to-day stuff, you never get the headspace to think bigger.
And if you lack that clarity, well, it's tough to focus your energy, make good decisions, stay motivated when things get hard.
You're just drifting, really. So how do we get clear? The book offers some great prompts for reflection. Like, on a personal level, what impact do you really want to make?
Who do you want to serve?
Yep.
What problems genuinely fire you up?
What legacy do you want? What work truly excites you?
And for a business or team,
Similar things. What's the core problem you solve? What makes you unique? What's the big long-term vision?
what kind of culture do you want? Where do you see yourselves in the industry down the line?
These aren't easy questions, but they force you to go deeper than just, make more money.
Right. They get to the core motivations, what really drives you or the organization.
And then, to make it practical, the book brings in the SMART goals framework. Specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, time-bound.
Ah, yes. SMART goals, a classic for a reason.
Exactly. So instead of increased sales, it's,
Increase sales of product X by 15% in Q3. Something concrete,
yep, it turns those big desires into actual steps you can take and track.
which gives you focus and accountability. Really useful.
Okay, golden question 2. How badly do you want it? The book calls this your engine's fuel.
The fuel. Okay, so this is about passion,
Yeah.
commitment.
Absolutely. It's the drive that keeps you going when the road gets rough. There's that quote again from Beswick, great athletes are thirsty.
Thirsty for success. I like that. It implies a real deep need, doesn't it?
Yeah, and that thirst, that deep desire, it fuels energy, builds resilience, sharpens focus.
Ignites creativity, maybe. Helps you find solutions.
Totally. And it helps you inspire others too. That passion is contagious.
So what does this high desire look like in action in a business setting?
Good question. The book lists things like always learning, always improving, actively seeking feedback, even critical feedback.
Okay. Taking initiative, not waiting around.
Yep. Paying attention to the details, being willing to handle discomfort, step outside the comfort zone.
And maybe engaging in healthy debate, challenging things to get to a better answer.
Exactly. These aren't signs of just doing the job. They show real commitment, deep investment.
They show that thirst.
Right. So how do you find or strengthen that inner fire? The book has strategies for that too.
Like what?
Understanding your why, really digging deep into why these goals matter to you. Connecting daily tasks back to that big vision.
Makes sense. Keeping the bigger picture in mind.
Also, shaping your environment to support your goals. Celebrating the small wins along the way that builds momentum.
Visualizing success is a powerful one too, right?
Definitely. Using positive language, taking care of your health physically and mentally, it all feeds that drive.
It's about consciously nurturing that motivation, keeping that engine fueled.
Okay, finally, golden question 3. How much are you willing to suffer? This is the price to be paid.
Whoa! Suffer. That sounds harsh.
Yeah, and the book is quick to clarify. It's not about masochism or needless pain.
Okay, good. So what does it mean?
It means accepting and managing the difficulties that are just inherent in growth,
Well,
in striving for something big.
okay. So the unavoidable challenges and discomfort that come with pushing yourself.
Exactly. You can't achieve excellence without hitting bumps, facing setbacks, stepping way outside what feels easy or comfortable.
That willingness to embrace the struggle almost, see it as part of the process.
That's the high-performance mindset, yeah. The book gives examples in business, long hours, maybe burnout risk on a big project.
Financial setbacks, dealing with criticism.
Yep. Intense competition, having to learn really hard new skills, making tough calls that maybe aren't popular.
Even loneliness sometimes, especially in leadership.
For sure. And personal sacrifices often come with it too.
And the point is, a top performer sees these not as reasons to quit, but as
The price of admission, the cost of mastery. They understand that staying comfortable means staying put, basically. Stagnation.
whereas growth happens when you push through that discomfort.
Right. So how do you build that resilience? The book suggests reframing. See the suffering as growth. Focus on what you can learn from setbacks.
Don't personalize failure.
Definitely not. Lean on your support system. Remind yourself of your why. Practice those resilience habits.
It mentions people like the founders of Microsoft, Amazon, Apple, SpaceX. They all went through incredible difficulties.
You certainly did. It's about seeing challenges not as stop signs, but as detours that build strength.
Okay, so we've got the levels of play, the 3 golden questions. What else is key?
Well, a big one is shifting from a victim mindset to a warrior mindset.
Victim versus warrior? Okay, break that down.
The victim mindset is, well, believing problems are always caused by something external, feeling helpless, making excuses.
Focusing on the problems, not solutions. Being passive, maybe complaining a lot.
You got it.
Yeah.
Whereas the warrior mindset,
Takes responsibility.
yes, solution-oriented, resilient, proactive, positive attitude, focused on action.
The book mentions Bill Beswick's own battle with Parkinson's, right? As an example of that warrior spirit.
Yeah, incredibly inspiring, facing immense challenges head on.
So how do you make that shift if you find yourself falling into victim thinking?
First, you got to recognize it. Identify those victim thoughts. Then challenge them. Ask yourself, is this really true? What part do I control?
Practice taking responsibility, even for small things.
Force yourself to shift from problems to potential solutions. Take some kind of action, however small, and watch your language use empowering words.
So instead of, I can't because, maybe how can I?
Exactly. Think about a recent excuse you made. How would a warrior have handled that situation differently? It's a useful exercise.
Okay, mindset is crucial, but the book says it's not enough on its own, right? There are other ingredients.
Right, the alchemy ingredients for high performance. Mindset is the foundation, but you need other things built on top.
Makes sense. What are they?
4 key things. First, readiness, both physical and mental.
Okay, readiness, like basic health stuff.
Yeah.
Sleep, nutrition.
Yep. Sleep, good food, physical activity, they fuel your energy, focus, ability to handle stress, and mental readiness too. Mindfulness, rest, having interests outside work.
The book even mentions things like Huel, right? As a way to get balanced nutrition quickly when you're busy.
It does, yeah. Just highlighting that practical side of fueling yourself properly for high performance.
Okay, readiness. What's next?
Skill, technical skills, the hard stuff you need for your job, and soft skills, communication, empathy, leadership.
Can't succeed without the actual abilities. And you need to keep learning, right? Continuous improvement.
Absolutely. Third ingredient, strategy, both the big picture and the day-to-day.
So like having a long-term vision and plan.
That's the long-term strategy. But also having tactics, planning smaller goals, managing your resources effectively day-to-day.
You need both the map and the ability to navigate the current terrain.
Well put. And the final ingredient, team and culture.
Yeah. You rarely achieve big things alone.
So true. Building a great team, talented, committed, positive, fostering good communication, creating a culture where people learn, innovate, take responsibility. That's huge.
So readiness, skill, strategy, team, and culture. It prompts you to think, which of these areas needs the most attention for you or your team right now?
Definitely. Okay, almost there. Let's talk about game day.
Game day, like the big moments.
Exactly. Those crucial times where all your preparation gets tested, big presentation, tough negotiation, product launch, maybe handling a crisis.
High pressure moments.
Totally.
Right.
And managing that pressure is key. The book suggests techniques like breathing exercises, focusing on the process, not just the outcome, mental rehearsal.
Anchoring yourself.
Yeah.
Positive self-talk.
All of that.
Yeah.
And confidence on game day. It comes from knowing you've done the prep work.
Preparation builds confidence. Makes sense.
And if things don't go perfectly on game day, that warrior mindset kicks back in. See setbacks as learning opportunities, not the end of the world.
Learn and adjust for the next time.
Right. So think about an upcoming game day for you. What are maybe 3 specific things you could do to prepare?
Good practical takeaway.
Finally, the book wraps up with this powerful idea. We are writing the story of our lives.
Bill Beswick's idea again.
Like
right?
every day, every choice, you're adding a sentence, a paragraph, a chapter to your professional and business story. You're the author.
That's empowering. Puts the control back in your hands.
It does. And you can contrast the victim story full of excuses and external blame with the warrior story, one of resilience, action, learning. Which story are you writing? Which level of play does it reflect?
And the amazing thing is, even if you don't like the chapters written so far,
You can start writing a different story today. The quality of those future chapters, it depends heavily on the mindset you choose to adopt now.
cultivating that high-performance mindset leads to a stronger, more inspiring narrative.
It gives you that sense of agency, of responsibility, but also flexibility. You can revise the plot as you learn and your goals evolve.
It's your story to shape.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, wow, there's a lot there.
There really is. Some powerful concepts.
The big takeaway for me is that high performance mindset. It's a daily choice.
That quote really sticks. Every morning when you wake up, you decide whether you will be a warrior or a victim.
And that single decision, made consistently, can genuinely change everything. Your business, your life.
It's profound when you think about it that way.
So we really hope this gives you something to act on. Maybe tackle that thing you've been putting off. Challenge one excuse. Rekindle your why.
Yeah, take one small step today.
The path won't always be easy. We know that. Mastery involves struggle.
But with the right mindset, the right ingredients, those challenges become stepping stones.
You've got the pen. Go write an amazing story. Write it with courage, commitment, and that champion's mindset.
Well said.
If you got value from this and want to keep thinking better with us, please do subscribe to the channel.
Yeah, your support helps us keep these deep dives coming.
Thanks so much for tuning in.